Two are former allies, but their relationship now is a bit more tense. Since declaring his 2024 campaign, Trump has increased his criticism of the Florida governor. The latest Fox News poll has Trump leading all Republicans with 53% support, while DeSantis right now is in second with 21% support. Now, DeSantis is making his rounds across the country in recent months. He has visited several early primary states, including Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina. He's in Wisconsin for an event today, but he says his immediate priority is going over the budget that Florida lawmakers just passed. Reporting in Atlanta, Nate Foy, Fox News.
Once again, after several years when we
Okay, and continuing to move along here, we apologize for a couple of these technical difficulties as we continue to talk about the White House. Well, President Biden touting a stronger than expected April jobs report. Employers added 253,000 jobs to the workforce last month, and the unemployment rate dropped to 3.4%. Now, despite that, his poll numbers remain low amid a looming banking crisis. All this as the president insists his son Hunter is innocent as an investigation continues into potential tax and gun-related charges. Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson is at the White House with the latest.
It's the first time in U.S. history a sitting president and his son are both under separate federal investigations. President Biden spoke about his son Hunter in his interview last night on MSNBC.
There is something personal that's affecting you. Your son, while there's no ties to you, could be charged by your Department of Justice. How will that impact your presidency?
First of all, my son's done nothing wrong. I trust him. I have faith in him. And it impacts my presidency by making me feel proud of him.
Some critics say the president should not be weighing in during an ongoing federal investigation into his son. Now, the oldest president in U.S. history was also asked about his age.
I've acquired a hell of a lot of wisdom. I know more than the vast majority of people. I'm more experienced than anybody who's ever run for the office. And I think I've proven myself to be honorable as well as also effective.
The president feeling good about the strong jobs report released Friday and lower unemployment now at 3.4%, matching a low from 1969. Over 250,000 new jobs were created in April as the country continues to rebound from the pandemic. Today, 75% of the jobs lost during COVID have returned. There was a flurry of activity here at the White House Friday when the president said the following.
You know, I think we've got a lot of work to do. I'm doing a major press conference this afternoon, so I love you all, but I'd like to ask you to leave so we can get down to business.
There was no major press conference here at the White House. There was no press conference at all. President Biden has not held a solo press conference this year. At the White House, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Okay, Lucas, thanks for that update. A live look here at the White House. We're going to take you out next to where Biden met with his economic team at the White House on Friday. During the meeting, he also reiterated that debt ceiling must be raised without conditions attached to it. His reiteration comes as he's set to meet with congressional leaders on this topic this upcoming week. Republicans have threatened to not raise the debt ceiling unless there are cuts to federal spending. Let's listen in here to these remarks from Friday.
Responsibility for getting the major legislation we passed up and running and get shovels in the ground, get things moving, get projects underway. And to discuss what progress we're making. This is the second of those meetings. They've been working straight through, and about how we're growing the economy, and from the middle out and the bottom up. And so this morning we got some good news from the jobs report. We added 250,000 jobs last month. That's on top of the 12 million jobs we've already added just since we came in office a little over 2 years ago. Unemployment rate is at 3.4%, which is the lowest in 50 years. Black employment has hit a record low. And the really good news is working age Americans are participating in the labor force at the highest rate in 15 years, not just since the pandemic, in 15 years. And the working age women are participating at the highest rate in 75 years. Inflation is now down 40% since last summer. It's come down the last 9 months in a row. We obviously have more work to do, but we're trending in the right direction. And I think we're making real progress. And we're doing it basically, which was the theme of everything we're internally working on, by investing in America. Say it again, investing in America. Matter of fact, the Secretary and I were just talking about a project that was taking place in another state, and the reason that we're having a significant investment in America, they said, well, we can't build this unless we go ahead and contract out for a lot of work. She said, no, I'm not going to do that way. Well, guess what? They figured out how to do it in America at the right price, at the right time, at the right state. And so we got a lot more work to do to make, but we're making real progress. We've already attracted $470 billion in private sector commitments in manufacturing and clean energy technology, and we're bringing back the supply chain to the United States. I don't ever want to be in a position again where a major initiative that we have and a major element of our economy is dependent on a supply chain somewhere else in the world, particularly if it's not particularly friendly. And we're doing all of this, having already in the first 2 years reduced the deficit by $1.7 trillion. That's occurred. That's happened. It's done. And the budget I proposed I proposed back on March 9, I think it was, the first couple weeks of March. That budget, if it were to be passed, would cut the deficit another $3 trillion. $3 trillion over the next 10 years. Unfortunately, I won't say Republican because I think they're pretty well divided, but our MAGA Republicans in Congress are threatening to do all this progress by letting us, quote, default on the debt unless we agree to their demands. The two are totally unrelated. Whether you pay the debt or not doesn't have a damn thing to do with what your budget is. What your budget is. Where you're going to spend money, how you're going to raise the money, what are you going to cut, they're two separate issues, two. And let's get it straight. They're trying to hold the debt hostage to us to agree to some draconian cuts, magnificently difficult and damaging cuts. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But unfortunately, they're threatening to undo all this progress by letting us default. Their budget that they promoted, that was attached to their debt ceiling increase, but they tied them together now. I want to make that clear. You all know this, I know, but for the listeners, they've tied it together. They say we're not going to increase the debt that every president has done for the last 6 million years here. Never hadn't done anything but that, unless you pass our budget as we're proposing. Now, their budget would put 21 million people at risk of losing Medicaid. It would cut federal law enforcement by 28,000 personnel, 28,000, FBI, DEA, etc. It would cut 100,000 teachers and support staff. It would cut 30 million veterans health care visits. And I increased the VA budget because the veterans were in such difficult shape, having so much trouble getting appointments and the like. According to Moody's, not the Democratic Party, according to Moody's, their budget plan would eliminate 780,000 jobs. Say it again, it would eliminate 780,000 jobs, according to Moody's. And America's debt has accumulated over 200 years, and my predecessor, in the 4 years he was president, increased it by that total debt by 40%. 4 years. 4 years.
エンジニアやってます。
All the Republicans voted to, the Republican Party voted to increase the debt limit.
いい意味でカオスかな。
自分たちをよりよくアップデートしていく部分をいかに楽しめるか。大変なことと改善。両方楽しめる人たち。
What I love about PayPay is, inside this chaos is, as I mentioned, there's opportunities and things you can do.
But I wasn't president. We're not a deadbeat nation.
Believe in our product and team. Believe in our product and team.
Believe in the product and the team.
作ってきたものと今のチームメンバー、信じないことには何もスピードも生み出さないし、クオリティも生み出さないと思うんで。
I think having an incredible team, people capable quickly solving problems and coming up with great ideas and great solutions all the time
Ego is not welcome.
Communication is necessary.
実際にユーザーの声に耳を傾けたり、メンバーの声に耳を傾けたり。
Here in Pepe, it's actually a lot, like 40 plus countries. So you have to talk to different nationalities.
Be sincere and be professional.
Be sincere to be professional.
Each of us really have to think, is what I'm doing, impacting my company's value.
それぞれがオーナーシップ持ってるというか、仕事を責任持ってるプロフェッショナルの集まり。
テクニカルな知識という意味でも経験という意味でもいろんな国から優秀なエンジニアが集まっていて、
物事の考え方、進め方がテックありきだから、
スピーディーに当たり前のことを高いレベルでユーザーに新しい価値を提供していける、そういう会社にしていきたいなというふうに思ってます。
I'm not the same old, running for the same goals, learning from the same books, following that same look. I'm the new. I'm the new.
We begin in the United States, where 8 people have been killed in the country's latest mass shooting. The incident took place at a shopping mall in Allen, which is about 20 miles, that's 35 kilometres north of the city of Dallas. This was the moment police officers hurried shoppers out of the mall. Eyewitnesses described a man dressed in black and armed with an assault rifle shooting apparently indiscriminately. The gunman has not been identified and was shot dead by police at the scene. There's been no word about any possible motive. 3 more people are currently in a critical situation in hospital. A short time ago, emergency services gave this update.
My name is Jonathan Boyd. I'm the fire chief for the Allen Fire Department. I'm going to speak to the medical part of our response. When we received the call, we activated our active attack integrated response. Our rescue task force teams found 7 deceased individuals on scene. We transported 9 individuals to the hospital, to area trauma facilities. Of those that we transported, 2 have since died, 3 are in critical surgery, and 4 are stable. I'll now turn it over to Police Chief Harvey.
Sorry, sir, what is the total number of dead?
The total would be then 9.
My name is Brian Harvey, the Chief of Police in Allen, and we're all saddened by this event today, this tragic event today. At 3:36, our officer was at Allen Premium Outlets on an unrelated call. He heard gunshots, located the shooter, neutralized the shooter, neutralized the threat. We believe at this point that the shooter acted alone. We are asking for the public's help. If you are a witness, if you have any video, please call 1-800-CALL-FBI, 1-800-CALL-FBI. This is an ongoing active investigation. We've had tremendous local, county, and state and federal support, and we appreciate that.
Our correspondent Jessica Parker has been following developments from Washington.
This happened on Saturday afternoon outside a shopping complex, Allen Premium Outlets, which is about 30 miles north of Dallas in Texas. Now, police say that as gunshots were heard, there was a police officer in the area there on an unrelated matter. They heard those gunshots, approached the shooter and killed them. They believe the gunman was acting alone and there's no further threat to the community. Very sadly, 6 victims were found dead at the scene. 2 others who were taken to hospital died later. 3 people were in critical surgery and 4 others in a stable condition. Now, this was a shopping area on a Saturday afternoon, so very busy. Footage has emerged of large numbers of people being evacuated from the area. Now again, this may prompt that familiar debate about gun control laws in the United States. Mass shootings have been on the rise in America, but despite that, there's still huge shock in those communities where incidents like this take place.
And there's much more on that story on the BBC News website, and of course you can get the latest developments on the website or on the BBC News app.
अब रुक मत, ये मोमेंट तेरा है।
सबको सुना